Hey everybody, welcome. Well, thanks for clicking on the thumbnail. I hope you liked the video. Welcome to Habs Odds and Ends, and the Odds and Ends videos are a grab bag of all kinds of stories that don't really require a full video, and I just talk about them in one video. Okay, so we're gonna start off pretty quickly because this is my fourth, fifth take, and I'm just having technical problems, and I want to get this video in. So let's go. Congratulations to Carrie and Angela Price on the birth of their third child, a baby boy named Lincoln. And Lincoln has already been drafted by the Montreal Canadiens and will be sent to training camp when he turns 18 years old. So congratulations on the Prices, their third child and the first boy. Now we're going to get into some history stuff. So like a day in history. And this is all from last week. I'm filming this on Wednesday, the 28th of October. So it's all from a little bit before or today. So first item up is Gordie Howe. Gordie Howe on October 27th, 1963. I think it was like 8 months old. He tied the Rocket Richard for career goals with 544. So he tied him. Now the Rocket had been retired for a year or two. And Howe was always his biggest rival and nemesis and the other big star in the league. And he would go on to score another 257 goals in the NHL. And I don't know how many, but in the WHA he scored a lot as well. He played in the WHA for a number of years with his sons Marty and Mark. Mark would go on to play for the Flyers. Great defenseman. Marty, not so much. And Howe also played for the Hartford Whalers. And he came over back to the NHL with the Whalers when they came into the league. So he played one full season with them. So Howe ended up with 801 goals, and Gretzky would end up passing him with 894. Now Guy Lafleur was the closest to the Rocket as a Hab with 518 goals as a Hab, but he would score 560 goals in his career, so he would pass the Rocket eventually. Next up, 1978, very sad day for hockey, as Bobby Orr, October 28th, 1978, so however many years that is today, he scored his 270th and final NHL goal as a member of the Chicago Blackhawks, which was just sad in itself right there. And that was against Detroit, and I think Gilles Meloche. Now, I'm not a big Bruins fan by any means, but it was sad to see Orr not in a Bruins uniform. So he was the best NHL defenseman to ever play the game, in my opinion. I don't think too many people would argue that. I also think he was the best player to ever play the game. You could argue other players, obviously, Gretzky, Howe, all that. Yeah, I wouldn't argue that much about it. That's just my opinion, but Orr was a great hockey player, a great, great hockey player. Could kill penalties by himself. Didn't need anybody else on the ice. Next item up for bids is 1979. Big day for Habs history, 1979. It was the first ever game between the Habs and the Quebec Nordiques, and for me, that was the most intense rivalry I've ever lived through or witnessed. That was absolute war every time except this first game that Montreal and Quebec played. Didn't matter if Quebec was good, not good. They played amazingly well against Montreal when you didn't expect it, especially. And they didn't have the talent, but somehow they did when they played Montreal. And the last time these teams met in the playoffs was in 1993. Habs won the Stanley Cup, last Canadian team to win the Stanley Cup, and the year of the 11 overtime victories in a row. So that's the last time, and I believe the next season, Nordiques would become the Colorado Avalanche. Next up, 1983. I don't have an exact date on that. Bobby Smith, and there's an interesting story here. The Montreal Canadiens acquired Bobby Smith from the Minnesota North Stars in exchange for Keith Acton, Mark Napier, and a third-round pick in 1987 draft, which turned out to be Ken Hodge Jr. So Mark Napier, I was working for a courier company that was owned by family. I'm related to the Maisland trucking family, so if you know who that is. Sammy Maisland, my uncle through marriage, was part owner, very minority owner of the Montreal Canadiens. So the result of that was a courier company. They were a client, and I happened to get Mark Napier's last contract offer to deliver. I know this because I opened the envelope. Don't tell anybody. I think it was just sort of one of those legal ones. But I opened it, and it was his last contract offer, $250,000, which was big money at the time. And but then later that summer, he was traded in this trade, which was It was a good trade. I mean, Bobby Smith was a great player, a leader, a key component in that 1986 Stanley Cup victory. And yeah, it was a good deal. Mark Napier was a good player too, but I think Bobby Smith was a little bit better there. So that was a good trade. And Bobby Smith was a great hockey player, fan favorite, and just, yeah, it was a good trade. Next up, 1984, back to a sad day. Guy Lafleur, October 25th, 1984. Guy Lafleur scores his final goal as a Montreal Canadien. Now, that day necessarily wasn't sad because we didn't know he was going to retire 2 days later, but he did. And, yeah, I mean, it was only his second goal with 5 assists in 19 games. Classic Guy Lafleur goal. He caught a pass. I forget who passed it to him. Flying down the ice, crosses the line, slap shot, beats the goalie. Classic Guy Lafleur goal with his hair flying back. And, yeah, just a very sad day when he retired. And I was devastated. Guy Lafleur was my favorite player since 1971. And I was just devastated. And considering don't watch a game anymore, the team anymore, it was a feud between Lemaire, his former line mate, and the style that Lemaire was coaching. And Lafleur wasn't adapting to it. And probably should have just taken some time away, got his head in order and come back and stayed as a Hab and all that stuff, but he didn't. He retired for 3 years, came back as a Ranger, and then 2 years as a Nordique, and it was very sad to see him wearing another uniform. So that sad day to all the other sad days, and just, but it was 1984 when he scored his final goal as Montreal Canadien. 1985, Doug Harvey. Oops, let me get it right. On October 26, 1985, legendary Habs defenseman Doug Harvey has his number 2 sweater retired. I just realized I don't have all my lights on. Oops, that's a little better. He was arguably Montreal's best ever defenseman, that's for sure, and one of the best ever defensemen to play the game. Without Doug Harvey, I don't know if Bobby Orr would be able to do what he did. So in his career, 1,113 games, 88 goals, 452 assists for 540 points. And those numbers are like astronomical for a defenseman, considering that's the 50s and the 50s and the 60s. That's just astronomical. In 890 games with the Habs, 76 goals, 371 assists, 447 points. He was traded to the Rangers prior to the 61-62 season. You could say because he was a partier and a drinker, maybe a drunk. But it was because he took part in the early attempt to organize the players into a union. They got Lou Fontinato in return, who was a defenseman, but not even close to the caliber of Doug Harvey. So they traded Doug Harvey for Lou Fontinato, and that's not punishment for what he did. Yeah, I mean, of course. So Harvey won 9 consecutive Norris trophies from 1954 through 1962. And then you throw in 5 Hart trophies in there as well, and I think 4 in a row at the end of that. And 11 consecutive All-Star games. It was Doug Harvey who paved the way for the offensive defenseman. And I ask here, would Bobby Orr have become the defenseman he was without a Doug Harvey before him? Probably not. He won 6 Stanley Cups with Montreal, including the 5 in a row to end the 50s. Yeah, he was just a great player. So when this happened, he had reconciled with Montreal, and it should have happened 30 years before. And he was very ill from being literally a drunk all his life and party guy and all that. A great person, though, from what everybody says, except when he was drinking, or maybe sometimes even when he was. But yeah, and I remember the night when he came in and his number was retired. It was just very emotional night, even though I never saw him play, but he was a great player. Okay, so enough for that. We'll get into some more stuff. I don't want to forget this. This just came out. The AHL, not the NHL, is targeting February 5th now as a starting date, from December 4th back to February 5th. So we may not even get hockey yet January 1st, so it's still really up in the air, and it might be in February. If you want to see a good video on this, the hockey guy just put a good one out. It's kind of where I got that information from, and he tries to figure it all out. I'm not going to do that here. Okay, this is for me, Movember. Movember's coming up. That's November for men where they raise money for men's health issues and awareness and all that. So I'm taking part. So if you see I'm kind of scraggly with the beard and everything because it's coming off on Saturday. You're going to see me without anything, and I'm going to grow back the beard and the mustache for Movember. There will be a link in all my videos starting on November 1st that you can click if you want to donate and contribute to the cause. And yeah, there'll be more information every video starting in November, and you'll see me slowly grow back all this. I'm nervous. I haven't done this in forever. I don't remember the last time I didn't have hair on my face. So I don't know what I'm going to look like, but it's for a good cause, and I'm happy to participate. Kind of, if it's fun to participate, first time ever. So that's that. Member shout out. I want to shout out to my members: Lee Max, NHL Hockey News Reports, Robert Dufour, Goldie Girls Rule. Let me see if I can remember everybody. I'm going to remember everybody. Morgan Burton, Jackson Rember, and Robadario. And if I forgot anybody, I'm sorry, but shout out to you guys. Thanks for everything. Thanks for the support. Without you guys, wouldn't have any members only stuff, right? So thanks a lot, you guys. You guys are the best. You guys are the bomb. So let's get back into this here now. So now, Alex Galchenyuk and his father have signed a contract with the Ottawa Senators. 1 year, $1.05 million. Yeah, I make a joke, his father, but you know his father's going with him. I don't know. It's risky, very risky. Could be rewarding, depending. I don't know. We'll find out. We'll see him more often. We'll see what he's like, where his head is at, what his game is like. But he signed with the Senators, and could be very rewarding for him if he wants to get his career back. There's a good opportunity, so we'll see how that works out. So Alex Galchenyuk is now an Ottawa Senator. KK Jesperi Kotkaniemi logging big minutes with Assat. Let me get that story. That's in here. KK. So he's logging big minutes with Assat. That's how you pronounce it, apparently. In Finland, in 2 league games so far, KK has 20 minutes and 24 seconds total time on ice and 21-28 total time on ice. He skated, because they keep track of how far they've actually skated, 5.2 kilometers in game 1 and 5.65 in game 2, and I think he leads all skaters. He has no points, though, but he has got 9 shots on goal, so he'll be okay. I'm sure he'll get his points. He's struggling a little bit, apparently, on face-offs. 63% in game 1, not struggling. 25% in game 2, struggling. He's using his size, being aggressive and physical, forechecking and fighting along the boards for the puck. So expect him to return by mid-December so he can quarantine and get ready for training camp. That, depending on if they announce it to leave farther down the road, maybe he'll stay longer, but that's for if they're on target for January 1st or a little bit after. And then that brings us to TSN's Craig Button ranks Habs #1 of the Canadian teams. So they did a segment, Craig Button and Mike Johnson. They did this segment where they ranked all the teams. Johnson had Toronto #1. Craig Button had Montreal. So you had Montreal, Calgary, Winnipeg, Toronto, Vancouver, Edmonton, Ottawa. That's his ranking. Johnson had Toronto, Calgary, Vancouver, Montreal, Edmonton, Winnipeg, Ottawa. So interesting. Toronto, Montreal. So first, fourth. Here, just flip them. First, fourth. Now, I did an earlier video where I kind of ranked them. I didn't actually rank them, but I did figure out who's going to finish where. So that's ranking them. I had Calgary, Edmonton, Montreal, Toronto, Vancouver, Winnipeg, Ottawa. I do believe since then Edmonton has not signed Mike Smith, or I didn't think about it properly. I've rethought it, and I'm going to be a little bold because I agree with Craig Button. So I'm ranking them, and we can check back. Let's see if I'm right. Montreal, Calgary, Toronto, Vancouver, Edmonton, Winnipeg, Ottawa. We all got Ottawa last. And that's the only one. All across the board is Ottawa. We all agree is going to be last. I'm going to be doing goalie tandems, and I'm going to rank goalie tandems for the Atlantic Division, and then one about if there's an All-Canadian Division, which looks like that's what we're going to get as an All-Canadian Division. So I think I'm at the end here. I want to thank everybody for watching this video. If you have any, give it a thumbs up if you like it. If you have any comments about any of this, in the comment section, let me know. And see, my dog agrees. If you're new to the video, to the channel, the beauty of having a dog. She's a great dog, but she likes to disturb. So if you're new to the channel, maybe you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe, ring that notifications bell. That's going to get you your daily fix of Bleu Blanc Rouge right here at Talking Habs. Thanks for watching, everybody. Stay safe out there. Peace out, y'all. See you next video.